every year we take the time to reflect on the year that we had. The winter is a great time for that. We're slowing down. People are taking time off from work. We're looking over the year, how it played out for us. We're setting goals and intentions for how we want the new year to look for us. And so we thought it was only right to share a piece of that here with y'all today. So it's not going to be our typical format, as I mentioned, but we are just going to get into it. We have some great reflective questions that we encourage you to reflect on after this episode, just to lay a foundation. That's how it starts, like just writing it down, making it plain, and figuring out what we want to change, what we want to keep as we enter the new year.
Yeah, the wrap up is always one of my favorite episodes.
It's how we started.
I know, and that's why I really love it. It's like a full circle moment each year, coming back to the foundation, a homecoming of sorts.
It's a homecoming for sure. Back in 2016, our first episode was wrapping up 2016.
Yeah,
baby,
it was.
And ever since then, we've held on to it.
And I love this tradition.
I do too.
It's a favorite of mine.
Yes, it keeps us accountable too.
Wow.
For what we need to do.
It does.
And what we have done. Because when I was looking over these questions, I said, ooh, it made me realize what I need to do differently for sure.
Definitely.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Why don't we? So let's start on a high. What was your highest moment of this year and why?
I would say the highest moment of this year for me was securing the Spotify Unbothered deal. To be seen by Jamel, such an amazing team. Not even just Jamel, for Christina. Christina's like really a visionary. She's so smart, intelligent. She keeps her finger on the pulse of what's going on.
I love her for that.
Yeah, like Christina is tapped the fuck in. Christina Tapper is tapped in.
She is a sharp tool.
She's
sharp.
Yeah, she's the executive producer of the Unbothered Network. So she is just so brilliant. And for her to be introduced to our content through the Spotify algorithm, and of course put it on Jamel's radar, and for Jamel to see what it is that we do and be like, yeah, there's a space for them here. That just made me feel really good. And I think it was at a point where we were feeling like we were kind of plateauing in what it is that we do here at the Black Girl Bravado, specifically together, just individually, and wondering what is next. How can we either reinvent this thing, make it better, make it bigger, and struggling with, like, we know what we want to do, but how do we do it?
Right. How
do we take the steps to get where we want to get? Because that's the hard part. But that email, and then like the steps it wasn't like we shared this already, but it wasn't an easy journey getting there. It took a lot of faith and leaning in.
Yes.
But I'm really glad that it happened. I'm grateful that it happened and that we're here.
Yeah.
What about you? What was your highest moment this year?
That was my highest moment as well.
The peak.
Echoing everything that you said, and just being validated in that way and seen in that way. I already knew that there was value in all of the hard work that we do, that we put out, in the content that we create. But like you said, we had reached a point where it felt like, where we knew we couldn't do this alone. We couldn't continue to do this alone. Like, we all know that you need people to go further. You need people that possess the tools, the ideas, the resources, the connections that you don't have to go further. We've mentioned time and time again on this show that when Germany and I set out to do this podcast, we didn't really have any intentions for it to go as far as it has gone. You know, we were just two homegirls picking up a mic, talking our shit. And as we went on, we got more serious and intentional about it. But we also realized that just being two regular ass homegirls, that we didn't have a lot of the resources that we needed to really push this show forward.
Right.
So Jamel and the Unbothered crew really like put a breath of fresh air in this show.
And refine our process.
Yes, helped us refine our process, and helping to amplify the show on a level that we just couldn't reach on our own. And for that, I'm grateful. And it just made me feel so good this year that this all came to fruition. Like, I felt like, wow, look at the girls.
I did. And it's funny that I think this is showing me two things, being in this place, that we need to be recognized. Personally, for me, that's a big part of my human design. Going back there is being recognized, but also when you're putting in so much work, it is essential. It does give you the little push you need. And I also think, how much do I fuck with my own shit? You know, that's what I really think. Like, do I only fuck with it when other people are fucking with it? Am I only really, really proud of it when people say, damn, it's so good? When I need to be able to see at all times that what it is that we're doing is impactful, that we're doing matters, that is valuable. Not only when we're like having a marketing rollout, right? You know, when Jamel is posting it and you know, like, which is, it's genuine and it's authentic. It's real because we really fuck with each other. Yeah. But I'm saying Jamel is such a big person, right? She's not like a regular old ass girl, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's Jamel. But when that sort of energy is not behind it, does it still mean the same thing to me? Right. And I fuck with my shit, but I want to really fuck with it like 1,000%. Like the way I fuck with it when the marketing rollout is happening. I'm like, it's my shit. Yeah. It's my shit. It's my shit. Okay. Like that. That's my way. Exactly. So yeah, just something.
Yeah. So this has been a good 2022. You know, that's what we've been saying, owes me nothing.
Yeah, that part, no, owes me nothing. So what was your lowest moment of the year and why?
Coming off of the heels of my statement of 2022 owes me nothing, I honestly am really thankful and grateful that I really do not feel like I had any low moments, you know, where I felt like I had to be picked up. I barely even cried. Come on. And in the past years, you know, I was well. Yeah. The well had run dry. My tears, my frustration, feeling like God was giving me the this face. But this year, I don't have any complaints. I don't feel like I had any low moments that are, if they were low, they were so quick that they're not even worth speaking of. I'm not even going to give them any shine because this was a good year for me. Even in my desire to have more and do more and be more, I cannot complain.
Yeah. I like that. I too didn't have many lows. I'll say that business wise, there was a feeling of lowness around that live show. To keep it to Virgil's. I mean, it was quick. It was a season. It was a season, but it was real. It was a real season. And it felt like a real low. It really made me question, do y'all fuck with us? Yeah. Do you fuck with us? That's what it was making me think. But even in those moments, I'm, I guess, reminded of like the power of just believing, continuing, pivoting when you need to, and slowing down but not stopping.
Pushing through.
Yeah, pushing through without contrast or having those obstacles and those barriers where you have to sit back and say, okay, wait, now what the fuck? Yeah. We really don't grow. We aren't really stretched. So being put in that position where we had to really reimagine what the live show would look like and get creative with just, you know, the process of what it was really helped me learn a little bit more, not only a lot about myself, but who I am in this partnership, in this business. And yeah, as a friend, because that was also an interesting time because you were like, oh, I feel alone. There were some moments where you felt alone. And I was like, ooh, I have to remember that I'm accountable to this person. I can get in my own way emotionally. I'm a very emotional person. But that cannot stop what I do here. Right. So
what started as a low definitely turned into a lesson. Not to be cliche, but once we got to the other side, we learned so much about ourselves and about just being business women. Yeah. How we could really do whatever the fuck we said we were going to do and what we want to do.
It was a lesson.
Even if it doesn't originally look like what we thought it was going to look like or end up looking like what we originally thought it was going to look like. It looks like what it's supposed to look like.
It looked like what it needed to look like.
Period.
And you know what started off as a low ended in a high.
It did.
It ended in a high. I felt so accomplished when it was all said and done because we really did figure out what is our why. Why are we doing this again? Is it for the stroke of ego of, oh, we got this, we did this, we did a Beyonce drop announcement and it went crazy, and is that why you're doing it? Or is it to connect with your community, to hold a safe space for Black women? What is the real reason you're doing this?
Now that you say that I feel like this whole year was that.
Figuring out our why?
Yes,
Being
and getting
reminded
out
of
of our
why?
ego from the merch, all that we poured into that. You know, like there's been so many moments where it brings us right back to our why and who we're doing it for and why we're doing it. And I feel like those lessons came back to back, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
They came back to back and we were shook.
Yeah.
And it really caused us to recenter and refocus. And we've been doing that ever since. We really have. And I'm proud of us because...
Staying intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because also, we all talk about mindfulness and intentionality. Like, once you get here, you just here. But it's really a practice.
It is.
You constantly have to bring yourself back to intentionality, at practicing mindfulness. When we all stray away because we're human, and we start doing what the fuck we want to naturally do, you know, which is be in our ego, be a little prideful, not give a fuck. And it's like, hold on. We're supposed to be evolved women here.
And get things easily. Yeah.
Get things easily. Baby, I'm the queen to put it in my lap. I'm like, wait, hold on. Y'all giving it out? Y'all giving it out?
Hand it to me.
Grow sisters.
Girl, hello.
Yeah, put it in my hand. That's what it's giving.